Hey everyone, today we're doing something a little different. Today we're doing a VOD review for my friend Flameguts. This is a Bronze 1 ranked game, I think. He doesn't have very many games in ranked games this season, so he could easily be of a higher skill level than Bronze 1, but that's, where we're starting. That's where this game was played. We're going to be looking at just the first 5 minutes for a few things that I noticed in this game that I think will carry over to be worked on, could carry over and lead to success in future games. So the first thing we're going to see, like most Nautilus players, Flameguts is going to be looking for level 1 invade, and I do like this, especially at lower ranks, if you can get your team on board and if you can get your team moving as a unit of 4 or 5 champions. It doesn't even really matter how strong those 4 or 5 champions are at level 1, you will just overwhelm the enemy team with coordination and with numbers. But we do need to be aware that some champions are stronger at level 1 than others. Specifically in the enemy team, I think we have Singed, Kaisa, and Lux to be really concerned about. Whereas on our team, we have Kale to be concerned about because she's not really a champion at level 1. She's not really a champion for the first 10 levels of the game. So we just need to kind of think about that. Like in a sustained fight, that Singed, that Kaisa, that Lux will be really scary. And now we have some powerful-ish level 1 champions on our side as well. Kendra's okay, Yone's okay, Hecarim's okay, but the issue is they're all melee champions, which means that Singed is just going to destroy them. And Kindred's not actually a melee champion, but she's very short range, she's trying to hop in to get value. So we just want to think about that. I think the best case scenario here is, our Nautilus, we hook someone out, and maybe we burn a flash, is kind of what we would be looking for. And before you think I'm, a prophet, I watched this before I started recording, so, that's kind of spoilers. So let's speed this up. That's too much. So already you can see that 2 of our teammates, let's pause right here. So 2 members of our team were slow out of the gate. If you're going to invade at level 1, we left base on time, we pinged even ahead of that, which is great. That's 2 of the 3 things we really want to do. The third thing we really want to do is tell your team, invading level 1. Let's invade level 1. I'm invading level 1. Some iteration of that, so that they know, don't go get a drink when you're on the loading screen, don't go to the bathroom on the loading screen. You need to be in your chair when this game starts, otherwise I'm going to throw the game and it's going to be your fault because you were AFK. So that, I don't know if that would have made the difference with this Kale and Yone. I don't know if the Kale and Yone being here would have made this difference. But it's another thing we could have done before the game even started. And also, you have to see this Hecarim, stutter steps or whatever, he's not with you the way the Kindred is as well, so that sucks also. So let's let this play. Lux misses a binding, which is great for us. We hit a hook, which is excellent. Boom. Right here, we just got a huge victory. I assume that this Ignite on the Singed was attempted to hit the Lux, who had just flashed away. We just got a huge victory with the Lux flash. I'm now terrified because Singed is in the middle of our team. We've already used our hook. This is not a champion. This is a melee minion, effectively. Yone is so much further behind. Kaisa's here. We don't know where the we don't know where the Kled or Teemo are. Although Lux flashed, she's going to have her binding again soon. I would be very happy, admittedly, if we didn't use this Ignite, but I'd be very happy calling this play off. We just got Lux's flash. She has no escapes, no mobility. We're a Nautilus. Level 2, you hit level 2, you flash on her, you auto her, then slow her with your E, then hook her with your Q. Ideally, ignite her. Ideally, once you hit the hook, you're thinking, all right, she's going to flash away. And we don't even bother trying to ignite her. But it's still fine. That would be incredible. If we just went for that, it'd be very easy to win this lane. To win our bot lane matchup, if we just back out right now. But alas, that is not what happens. That Singed, man, just does so much work. See, Lux has another binding. Our melee minion got binded behind the Kindred. And all of this is just kind of a mess. I'm not gonna, really analyze this or anything. You know, we hit another hook and died for it, but got 2 kills for it, so I think that's worth. Right here, there's this concept that I've heard, a lot of the ideas that I'm going to try and share, or, you know, whatever, a lot of the ideas that I'm going to talk about will be things that I've heard other places, of course. I mean, I'm only a gold player, so I'm not just coming up with brilliant ideas. There's this concept called lull states, and that's times in the game when you're not doing crazy micro, or you're not, you know, trying to last hit, or you're not whatever. It's you're in a lull, and you have mental freedom to think about the game and what's happening. So since we died about 5 seconds ago, we need to think about what how am I going to spend my gold if I got any gold from this first fight. I think we only got like, you know, 2 or 3 assists. You got 3 assists, you have 62 gold, so you buy another health potion, easy. Moving on to the next thing. Where am I going out of base? Straight to bot lane, it's too late to leash, easy. You could technically actually probably go to red buff, but at this point, straight to bot lane. You still have flash, Lux doesn't, Kai'Sa doesn't, just go win your lane by flashing on one of their heads. Those are the 2 decisions you have to make. Where do I go? How am I spending my gold? That should take you a few seconds to think about. Then you think about, what should my team be doing? Can I help these 3 people? These 3 champions, you should be like spam pinging, you know, recall, fall back, whatever. This Hecarim probably has like 1,000 gold, 678 gold. This guy can get, if he recalls by the time he's back to base, you know, maybe sell this health potion. He can get like 2 long swords, or, you know, he can go boots long sword even without selling the health potion. This Hecarim should recall right now. The Yone has 120 gold. All right, well, he just needs to safely fall back and get ready to lane. The Kayle is just fucked. She used both sums. 400 gold is nothing. She's half health, but she has to recall. I would be terrified because Kled wasn't a part of this. She can't just walk straight to lane. So something that you could do to help your team would be, you know, pinging them back. You can ping the recall button at the bottom right, and that's you saying recall, so ping them back and tell them to recall a few times. Yeah, but we don't do anything like that. So these people probably don't make the correct choices here. They go mid, and Hecarim's trying to fight. I just gotta say, this is so insane from the Hecarim. Like, okay, you burned his bone plating, that's cool. But like, bro, you are 2/3 health, and you need to clear your camps, right? You need to get ready to clear your camps in 17 seconds. That's just crazy to me. I'm not really interested in any of this, although, you know, it could have been avoided if we told our team, like, hey, fall back, you know? Yeah, our Kayle died. Kayle is just so screwed now. Well done by the Yone, but, you know, if we take stock, this dude starts to recall now. 20 seconds after we could have told him, hey, recall, and maybe he just walks down this way and recalls in this bush instead of all this stupid stuff. 20 seconds our jungler is delayed. Again, it's just like getting him at his computer at the start of the game with Yone and Kayle. We can't control them, but we can help them by pinging. And I'm not saying you have to watch what every teammate is doing at all times and ping them the correct place. We don't even know the correct place for ourselves a lot of the time. But we were in base with 62 gold, clearly just walking straight bot lane. We had that mental capacity to just ping them and say, hey, fall back, spend your gold. Yeah, all right, so now we're gonna shift our focus to bot lane for the rest of the game. So that's kind of the main thing, is the whole level 1. I love the aggression, I love the idea, because we're Nautilus, our level 1's really strong. There are tiny things I would have done differently. One, I don't know if you did this, but tell your team in champ select, you know, maybe as like the 9th or 10th champions being locked in, or maybe even sooner than that, say, I want to invade at level 1. Let's invade at level 1, going to invade at level 1, something like that, so that they are more likely to be at the computer at the start of the game. And number 2, take the small victory, especially when the enemy team is something as terrifying as Singe. Just take the small victory. We burned Lux's flash, save your ignite. It's just, even if you ignited the Lux right when your Q hit, she's just gonna flash away. You have to assume she's gonna flash away, and then you don't really want to flash follow. Just save the ignite, and then when you come to lane at level 2, level 3, just flash on Lux's head, ignite her then, and she's just dead. So that's what I want to say about the level 1. Now we're moving into the laning phase. I don't know why Kindred can't move for Mark again for another 5 seconds. Okay. So now we're coming to the laning phase. There are a few things to think about in this laning phase. A lot of the laning phase, especially at like level 1, when you only have one ability, is really defined by your keystone runes. This Kai'Sa has Hail of Blades, which is something to think about. Hail of Blades, as you're probably aware, it's like your first 3 attacks against the enemy champion have really increased attack speed. So that means that Kai'Sa is going to be looking for short trades where she auto, and then walk away. You know, maybe hits you with a W or autos you a 4th time to pop the passive or whatever, or has Lux hit an ability. So that's what Kai'Sa is looking for. And that's, if your opponent is looking for it, then you want to avoid giving it to them. So that's something to think about. Another thing to think about is, you know, who would win a level 1 all-in? Who would win level 2 all-ins? You know, what's our strength? As Nautilus, your biggest strength can be, if you have a really powerful marksman, you're at level 1. You can have a level 1 strength. I just hit a hook, I get on top of you, my marksman, like something like Ashe will just run you down, right? That would just be nutty. Like Nautilus Ashe would have an insane level 1 because Nautilus forces it, and then Ashe runs or slows them down, so Nautilus can keep autoing, and Ashe will keep autoing, and it's just going to be really good. You have Kindra, who has no sums and is AFK in a bush, so it's not like the strongest thing ever. And you know, Lux Kai'Sa I think is good at level 1, so I'd be scared of this level 1. I would be looking for level 2 or level 3, and then I just flash on top of either of their heads, probably the Lux because she's squishier and it's going to be looking to poke, and just kill them. Now, kind of a high level concept that I want to talk about, maybe not high level, but just non-specific to Nautilus. There's this concept, I hope you can see my cursor. There's this concept in the bot lane, right? There's 2 of you and there's 2 enemies. Lux is over here, leashing. So Lux is either like back here or over here. She's leashing, coming to lane, is kind of what we can assume. So there's this concept, if you think about each champion, and like between you and Kindred is like a straight line, right? Like, you know how Kalista tethers to support, so imagine the 2 of you are tethered. And the Kai'Sa and the Lux are tethered. Now, if Kai'Sa steps up to like where this blue melee minion is, then both of you can attack her and you have a 2v1. Even if the Lux is in this bush, she's too far away to help you 2v1 the Kai'Sa. So I want to kind of show what happens here. You walk up, and so you kind of want to mirror, like you want to, there's the line between you and your Kindred, and there's the line between Kai'Sa and the Lux. You want to try and create 2v1s in your advantage and avoid 2v1s in the enemy team's advantage as much as possible. So you have stepped up. That means the Kindred should be stepping up with you also. But she's AFK in the bush. And so if Lux comes from river here, or if Lux is in this bush, comes up, or just walks into lane from here, you're going to get 2v1'd because your Kindred's AFK. So with Kindred just sitting in the bush, you're not allowed to walk up like this. And it sounds like a small thing, but we're going to see how much it hurts. Like, Kai'Sa just goes, okay, I'm going to attack you. And, you know, you lost, what is it, 200 health, 170 health. And, like, sure, Kai'Sa or Kindred came out of the bush and got, like, 1 or 2 autos in. She dealt 100 damage. So you lost 200 damage, the Kai'Sa lost 100. And your health is so important because your melee, you need to be getting up in there. So, you know, it's just, you stepped up a little early there and took a lot of damage. So that's something to think about. As Nautilus in this matchup, I'd be really interested in trying to get in this bush, trying to threaten them. Say, you know, if you want to fight me, like use a spell to check the bush. We know she has her binding, so we can watch out for that. You dodge it or whatever. Yeah, I'd be really interested in trying to control the bush here. Also, it's a small thing, but it's actually a really important thing. Your support item, which executes minions to share gold, do not use it on the first wave. Never use it on the first wave. You want to use this on the second wave for 2 main reasons. The first one is you rush to get level 2. Like, because as you know, you'll get level 2 when the 3 melee minions of the second wave die. So all of the first wave and then the 3 melees from the second wave give you level 2. So what you do is you use your 2 stacks on 2 of those 3 melee minions on the second wave, and you surprise the enemy team and snap level 2, and you're already like up in melee range hitting minions. It's really good. The second reason you don't want to do this on level 1 is it makes it more likely that the lane will push away from you at level 1, which means you're more likely to get ganked. You have less room to make plays and engages, So yeah, that's just a heuristic, right? Just a general rule. Do not use these stacks on the first wave. Like, just never do it. And then when you're advanced enough, when you're a challenger support, you'll understand the times where it's appropriate to or not. But never do it. Use 2 on the second wave, and then you'll get the third one in time for the cannon, which is on the third wave, which is really important. Yeah. So when we just think about, you start to think about, at least when you're watching replays or whatever, think about, you know, the tether between the two of you and the tether between them. These two, they're not playing in sync right now. Like the Kai'Sa, due to the Lux's positioning, Kai'Sa should be out here. So it's kind of like your straight line is parallel to their straight line, and there's parity. But the two of you could like 2v1 this Lux right now, right? The way she's like standing so far forward. And I'm not really saying like, oh, go for this hook or anything like that, but just, it's something that once you understand the concept, you'll like notice when something isn't right. And once you notice, oh, this isn't right, then you'll notice, oh, I can punish them. It'll often be, you know, the Lulu, Soraka, Sonas, like back in this bush, and you're in the 80 carry has to step up, and you just 2v1 the 80 carry. So yeah, that's just something to start watching for. So think about the tether between the two of you and the tether between the two of them. And parity is when the two tethers are parallel, and anytime they're not parallel, one team can punish the other and get a little 2v1, and it's going to be super free. And because this person's going to be late to the fight. Yeah, so right here, it sucks that those range minions from the first wave didn't get killed. We're going to be very slow to level 2 here. Yeah, they have level 2, so now we need to be scared. I see what you're going for there. I think it's fair, but actually, no, I'm being too generous. The enemy team has level 2. We're still level 1. The enemy team has more minions than us. We have very few minions. So we're going to take extra damage. They have extra health, extra defensive stats, extra abilities. Even if that hook hit, it would have been the same result, maybe even worse for us. So yeah, we absolutely should not have gone for that hook because we're level 1 and they're level 2. I see the angle you were trying to hit, and in the next few minutes, you do hit some pretty sick angles on your hooks. So I understand, you know, you gotta, you know, break a couple legs to make an omelet or whatever, but for the reasons that I just listed, it was not good to even go for that hook. The Lux went and warded, by the way. We could have pinged that, you know, just in general to let our Hecarim know. That's something that we can do. If we notice she leaves, she definitely just went and warded, probably Tribush. It's good that we got the cannon. Weird that we have a Kindred 80 carry, by the way, but I mean, it's bronze. You never know what's going to happen. Our lane is missing at this point, which is interesting. They're just in the bush. All right, they're just chilling. Just gonna let this all play out, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so good job overall. Let's back it up, see what the setup looks like. Get the camera focused on Nautilus so I don't have to. So, Lux is in the bush, right? Everybody's level 2. We know that they have no summoners. They used everything. We still have your Flash as the only summoner down here. So, the big thing I'd be looking to leverage would be your Flash, to be honest. And I would have used it even more aggressively. Another thing is you didn't use Aftershock. Aftershock does damage, right? After immobilizing enemy champion, increases defensive stats, then explode, dealing magic damage. It's going to do 31, maybe 34 damage, something like that. Which is, you know, that's like half an auto. And increase your defensive stats by a lot. It's going to double your magic resist and increase your armor by, you know, almost like, it looks like 80% or something. So while you have Aftershock, you're actually very tanky. So like right here, you know, we just kind of go for a hook because we see the binding. I think this is fine. Yeah, this is cool, so we'll just let this play. Boom. We hit the root. Our Aftershock is procced, right? Unit has increased resist and will deal damage to nearby units. Okay. And then we start backing up. This is a fight to the death. Like, this is not a just walk it off, right? Your Kaisa, it has, or your Kindred has her zone down. She's going to be doing a lot of damage with her Dance of Arrows. Everybody's level 2. Kindred's full health. Our Aftershock is active still. This is a fight to the death. Just stand on top of the Lux. We know she doesn't have flash. I'd in fact even, you know, standing on top of the Lux, and then you can flash onto the Kaisa once Lux dies to get the root on her. This is, if we're throwing a hook, it's because we want this fight, and so take the fight. You know, Nautilus is like a all-in kind of champion. Once you go in, you stay in until the fight's over or until you're dead, for the most part. And we'll see. So yeah, our Aftershock just popped, so we missed, you know, 30 damage, which is not negligible. That's 30 damage is, you know, 5-6% of this Lux's health. That could be the difference between auto attack and, you know, not. Plus, if we're standing on top of her head, we're autoing her, right? Your auto attacks probably do 50-60 damage as long as she has much armor. So we're missing the Aftershock, and I just want to see. Yeah, it just deals magic damage. Okay. We're missing the Aftershock, and we're missing 2-3 auto attacks worth of damage, plus we auto attack the Kaisa to snare her or whatever the fuck it is. Root her, dealing extra damage to her as well. So this is, you know, it's just a big thing. Like, if we hit the hook, it's because we want the fight, and if we want the fight, take the fight. Kindred is 2v1ing them, and this is when you realize, oh crap, I need to come back and help. And so, you know, we flash to do the thing, whatever. Yeah, so I think that if you stayed in here, Lux would have died sooner. Kindred could have switched her attention, and yeah, maybe Kindred doesn't die. Something funny that happens here is the Lux's Ignite came up just now after she died. I watched this, I assure you that if you back it up, you'll see that Lux's Ignite comes up like 2 seconds after she dies. And then the Kaisa spam pings her, like, why didn't you fucking ignite? Oh, you fucking idiot. Anyway, another thing, don't hit these minions, man. You know, fresh wave coming in, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fresh ones. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 left over. You just killed a minion, there were 4 left over. This lane would have stayed roughly in the middle here. Let me back it up. Let's look at the... So you see Lux's Ignite. It's an accelerated timer, but it's just coming up in a couple seconds. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 minions to 1, 2, 3, 4 minions. Now, admittedly, you have a couple melees, so this will slowly push away from you. Just hit recall. Like, if it's close to parity, just fucking recall, dude. How much gold do you have? You have 771 gold to spend, so that's like boots and, you know, the health item, the ruby crystal, or whatever you want to build. I don't even know. I honestly don't even care, but just hit recall. You don't want to take these minions. You don't want to push this wave. Like, you don't want to try and crash the wave. We have no vision set up. You know, we have no idea what's happening. We don't know if we're gonna get ganked by Teemo, which sounds ridiculous, but we don't have our flash. We might not be able to get away. There's a new wave coming in, so not only are you pushing, you're gonna have to push 10 minions by yourself at half health, and then you're gonna take so long getting back to lane. Just don't push these minions. Just recall. And then, because once you commit, you gotta commit. Like, once you start pushing. Like, I'd be asking Hecarim to come help or something, like, you know, and you do this so slowly. I just mean Nautilus shoves waves relatively slowly, like better than like a Lulu or something, but yeah. And you're just taking a lot of experience from your Kindred and, you know, some gold from your Kindred. And then we're wasting time with all this, and now we have 920 gold. It's one of the most common mistakes at lower levels is not just going back to base. We saw it at level 1 here with those 3 members of your team. We're seeing us do it now. I'm sure we'll see it again and again. Because now you're stuck in lane. You're stuck in lane with 1,000 gold that you haven't spent. That's a fine hook, but it's under tower. Yeah, Kindred gets a kill, which is cool, but we could have, you know, hooked the Kaisa. That was insane. If that hit, you were definitely dead. We just need to go back to base, man. We have 1,300 gold. You could buy a noon quiver for that. Yeah, and then now it's like you're kind of stuck here because you want to use your support item, and you know you want to support the Kindred. So that's one of the biggest things I'm seeing is just go back to base. You're so low health. You're probably the weakest person on the map currently. Well, we have Kale, who's not a champion, but if we look at items, you know, recurve bow, boots and sword. This guy has an amp tome, vamp scepter, noon quiver, amp tome and boots. You have more gold total, right? 2,000. You have more gold total than anyone else in this lane. In fact, you are tied basically with the Hecarim for most gold in the game. Yet you're the only person in the game that just only has their starting item. And not only that, you have, you know, 20% health, 25% health. So, you know, I would say that this is definitely something to be aware of, especially when playing Nautilus, because you're an engaged champion who wants to go in. You need to get back to base. You need to spend your gold. You need to restore your health. Yeah, because our champion identity does not function when we're low health and weaker than we should be. What else did I want to say about this? Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think I've hit that point hard enough. Because, you know, let's see what happens here. We're going to hit a fucking nasty hook. We hit this nasty hook, right? Our aftershock pops. But Kai'Sa's coming back to lane. Huge minion wave coming in. These ranged minions are going to turn around and start hitting you. You have to run away immediately. And then your Kindred just fucking dies. Imagine if you were full health, having with a noon quiver or, you know, an actual non-troll item, Nautilus specific item. You just stand here, you block the Kaisa. Does Kaisa hit abilities on the Kindred? Damn, Kindred's pretty low health as well. I'm not saying she needed a recall, but this makes more sense. I thought she was full health. Yeah. So Kaisa hits her W, which does, you know, almost 200 damage. So yeah, imagine if you're full health, you tank that, you're tanking all the minions, you just run the Lux down, Lux dies, Kaisa can't kill Kindred back. You just dominate this lane. And if we recalled, it would have been so free. Because right now it's 5 minutes into the game. When did I want you to recall? I wanted you to recall even before this. So admittedly, sure, you get a kill here. I wanted you to recall at 3:30 into the game when you had 850 gold. When you do eventually, let's see, the Kaisa kills your Kindred at 5 minutes. I'm just curious what we buy. I want to see what we're building towards. Wow, I actually didn't watch until this point. I didn't realize we still haven't recalled. Yeah, so this is definitely, you know, something you can fix overnight, is just start recalling when you're lower health, or, you know, you have a bunch of gold. I'm honestly not even interested in what all is happening at this point. Yeah, at this point I'm just watching for curiosity to see when you do eventually buy an item. Alright, good, you died, which is good. That death was honestly good for you because it means now you have to go back. You got forced to go back to base. So let's see, we got Kindle Gem, Crystalline Bracer, which has health regen. That's pretty nice against like a poke lane like Lux Kaisa. Got some cloth armor. I guess it's a part of our thing, but the enemy team does a lot of magic damage, so I don't know what we're building towards that has cloth armor, but I'm just going to jump forward and see what you have. Oh, we do Heartsteel, sure. I'm still almost nearly convinced that this is just incorrect, but, you know, I'm not here to criticize your like build choice and stuff like that. There's just so many other things that are so much more important, like, you know, talking to your team to actually to participate in the level 1. Don't pick fights when you're level 2, the enemy, or when you're level 1, the enemies are level 2, and recall and spend your gold so that you can heal up and be strong and actually win the fights that you're taking. So I'm not going to criticize the Heartsteel, although I'm almost convinced that it's wrong, or I am convinced that it's wrong without even looking at the statistics. So yeah, you would have had a Kindle Gem or the other thing, right? At 3 minutes into the game, 3:30 into the game. So right here, you know, we're picking this fight with 500 health or less. When we eventually take the fight that gets our Kindred killed, we have 246 health. Instead, if we had shopped and bought a Kindle Gem and came back to lane, we would have had 1,000 health, 1,100 health. We would have had 4 times the amount of health. You know, you could have tanked this forever, and you probably just like win the game off of your Kindred getting another kill and setting the enemy bot lane behind. So that's some ideas, and I hope that you found some of these concepts interesting. Anyone watching other than Flamegoats, I hope you also found this interesting. If you want me to watch one of your games, feel free to reach out to me in the YouTube comments, and I'll talk to you about how you can send me a replay, and I can feature you in the next video. All right, with that, I'm out, and I will see you guys next time.